everybody. Today we are going to be talking about how you can turn your expertise, your knowledge, your genius zone into a successful wellness workshop. And I know I have so many health coaches that feel overwhelmed by writing a workshop. They don't feel like they know enough. They don't feel like they're ready. And so stick around because it's much more simple than you may be thinking. And if you're just tuning in and you are a wellness entrepreneur, you are in the exact right spot. Every single Wednesday, I do a live training for health coaches. It's in the Lori Kampa Facebook page and also on Zoom. And all the events you can find in the Facebook group for wellness entrepreneurs and also on the Facebook page. And of course, if you're on my email list, I send out a weekly email so you know where to go and what the topic is. And all of these sessions are recorded live, so you can find them on my podcast, Health Coaching Biz Made Easy. And you can find that at workshopsdone.com/podcast. You can watch all the recorded videos on YouTube, and those are just going to be found at workshopsdone.com/video. So let's get started because I am ecstatic about today's topic. So if we haven't met yet, I am Lori Kampa. I am a working health coach, and I also train health coaches on their business. And I help them to make that purpose of being a health coach be that number one dream, and to put that fear aside, I shouldn't say side, to lean into the fear and do it anyway, so that they can have a profitable business doing what we all love to do. So one of my specialties is writing new workshops. And I have written over 35 wellness workshops. And when I first started, I was still at school at the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. And just to let you know, a year or two before I went to IIN, I was eating bagels in the morning for breakfast with a Diet Coke. I was having pizza at lunch. I was eating the standard American diet. So if anyone felt like they were not an expert yet, it was me. But I realized that people wanted to know what I was learning. They wanted to be inspired by my healing story. And so I went ahead and did it anyway. So I wrote one new workshop a month for a year. So I had a new workshop out every single month. Now, I didn't realize at the time that giving workshops is the best way to connect with people, that they get to know you, they get to like you, they understand that they can trust you, because health coaching is such a personal thing. And also, you're not just growing a little list. I mean, yes, it's a little list, but it's the highest of quality of lists. Every single person, you've had a relationship, whether they have seen you on a webinar and you've interacted, or you are in person. And I think we can all agree that when we have that relationship like this versus just an email or social media, it's deeper, right? We have a higher quality of a relationship this way. So when I started doing workshops, it was easy for me to find clients because they were in the audience. And then afterwards, they would say, hey, do you have any openings for health coaching? And even before I was ready, I just said, yes, I will do that. So it's amazing. And without workshops, I would feel stressed that I would have to be selling or doing more promotions to find new clients. And I just like to have it that there's a little bit of a waiting list so we can meet, people can get something going for an action plan while we're waiting before our health coaching program starts. So again, you are in the right spot if you are here to think about how you can use your knowledge that you already have to create your own workshop. And if you're feeling like I'm not even prepared for this, Lori, I am not ready at all, I am so overwhelmed, we may never be ready. And I think that's okay. My motto is you're ready enough, right? I didn't feel prepared when I first started either. And the biggest way to be prepared is to have experiences, right? That's why we have people do a whole food detox with us. That's why we have people experience things so that they can connect to it. So when we write a workshop and we give it, we will experience that. And the worst that happens is you fail forward, right? I made lots of mistakes my first year. And every time I made a mistake, I would learn from it. And every time I'd give that same workshop, I would come back and I would revise it, and then I would do it again and revise it. And you just keep going until you are talking to your ideal client. So I want you to experience writing a workshop and also giving workshops so you can have a wait list for your clients. And just know you are not alone. I love supporting health coaches. It is my goal, my purpose to help people to heal, to not suffer. And the more I can empower you to have that full-time business and you get out there to help people, it's all the quicker for my goal. So you are going to feel more confident after this training today, because I'm going to go through step by step of how you can use your expertise to write and structure a highly successful workshop. So first of all, when starting out, it's your first workshop, give yourself at least 8 to 12 weeks. So this is to write, to plan, to promote your workshop, because you might be doing things for the very first time and you're thinking, I need to do a landing page, I need to do all these things for the first time. It takes longer. After a while, you'll be able to have a system in place. Next, we need to find some clarity, and this is critical when you're writing a new workshop. So I'm going to be asking a lot of questions, and this is going to be very interactive. So come into the chat room, let me know some of your answers so you can help find clarity on structuring your own workshop. If you're watching this on the replay, please pause in between and take notes so that you can do the work at the same time. These answers to the questions are going to help to provide you to cast that vision of your next workshop. And truly, I have seen workshops that didn't have clarity, didn't have a framework, and didn't have proper planning, so they weren't successful. And it just pains me when a health coach may plan to write a workshop and nobody shows up, or maybe it's scattered and people aren't understanding, or the worst one is that they're not speaking to their ideal client and they're speaking over them, right? We need to think about where they are when we're writing it. So the first thing is we need to choose the subject and the title. So number one question, and come into the chat and let me know. I'm going to give you lots of ideas here. What health topics are you passionate about? What do you love discussing with your clients and friends? Think about, what are the subjects that set your soul on fire? What do you just on your free time love to learn more about? What areas do you feel maybe you're an expert, or you just know a little bit more than the average person? Again, you only need to have your journey about 10% ahead of where your audience is to teach them. And sometimes when we have a teacher that is so much greater than you, it's hard for them to relate to where you are. So, for example, write these down, all the ones that you feel like you know a lot about. Do you know a lot about meal planning? Like, I plan meals every single Sunday. I write them on the chalkboard, I plan for them, I prep, so the week goes flawlessly. If I didn't have that, I would be grabbing tortilla chips, right? So I have that as part of my genius zone. That could be 2 to 3 different types of workshops. Maybe it's about how to go gluten-free. I've had many clients that have come to me right away and they're like, I went gluten-free 2 months ago. I keep gaining all this weight. And I'm seeing that they're eating the gluten-free cookies and all the processed food. And so maybe you teach them about how to do that in a healthy way. All the things that I'm talking to you about, I've written a workshop on, just to let you know. So maybe it's about eating healthy on a budget. I have heard so many of my clients say, I can't afford to eat healthy, teaching them the ways that they can make it more affordable. So listen to your clients. They're telling you what they want to hear. So superfoods for smoothies, eating for energy, brain health to supercharge your brain for extra productivity, secrets to sleep, detoxing your body, kicking the sugar habit. Maybe it's about balancing hormones. Maybe you only work with women that are going through menopause or setting yourself up during perimenopause. Maybe it's cooking classes. Now, this could be a variety. It's a vegan cooking class. It's a healthy mocktails cooking class, right? There's a lot of variety. Mindfulness. I love teaching about mindfulness. Self-care, the power of gratitude and healing. Positive thinking, relationships. I love a workshop I do on the 5 love languages. Reducing stress at the holidays, that's coming up, right? Cultivating resilience, life-work balance, office chair yoga, simple steps to be healthy at work, right? The list can go on and on and on. There are so many different ideas. So yeah, so I'm seeing in the chat, yes, Sharon, increasing energy through food. Absolutely. And that one, Sharon, I love that. I don't work with teenagers anymore, but when I first started, I wasn't sure. So I was writing the same type of workshop about eating for energy, but for kids, I'd be like, fuel yourself for success. You know, it can be very similar when you think about the different demographics, but you need to speak to your audience. Yeah, gut health. Oh yeah, Sharon said, I love your shirt. If you're watching the video, mindful is my mantra. I got this at a yoga festival a couple years ago, and I love it. Yeah, so keep posting all your different ideas here. And by the way, if you're on Zoom, make sure that you are going to everyone and not to just the host so everyone can see that. So thank you so much, and keep coming with these ideas. If you're watching this on a recording, again, press pause and just take 10 minutes and write all these down. So it's important for you to remember, if you're doing kicking sugar, for me, I haven't had processed sugar in months, right? There are certain times that for us, it's much easier because we've been living this way. But where were you where your ideal client is? So what did you need to know 10 years ago, 20 years ago? And it might seem easy to you and it's second nature to you, but your audience is looking for you to break them down so they can learn. And it's not just about learning, because education is not transformation. It's seeing that it's possible. You don't want to overteach them too much. You just want to teach them enough so that they go, I know that I can do this. So these topics that you are just thinking about, they're all potentials to turn into a new workshop. And next, you want to think about your ideal client. Who is your ideal client? It's essential to be clear so you attract the right people to your audience. The whole key with workshops is finding new clients, right? So we want to have those type of people in the audience. Are they male? Are they female? What are their ages? Are they married, single, kids, pets, whatever it is? Where do they like to hang out? This is all going to help you with your promotion. And then think about those ideal clients or ideal community. What frustrates them? What are their challenges? How do you want them to feel after your workshop? How do you want them to feel after they get results from a health coaching program with you, right? So every one of us has a little bit different of our ideal client, our niche. And so we need to speak to those people. So from those ideas that we generated, what are you passionate about? What do you love talking about? What do you love just to learn on your own? Think about just one core subject now that's directly related to your niche. So we might be interested in some things. Like for me, I also teach yoga. I could talk about yoga all the time, but I would not be relating as much to my ideal client, because my ideal client is a beginner. They're eating the standard American diet. They're having depression. They're having anxiety. They're women over 40. So maybe a chair yoga, something like that would be fine. But for me, I'm not going to find my clients when I teach a power vinyasa class, right? So what is a subject that you can teach that would also be interesting for your core of future clients? So what topic will spark the most interest and engagement from your community so they are eager and excited to show up and eventually buy the program that you're promoting at the end? So what topic are you most passionate about helping other people solve? Like, I love helping people to kick the sugar habit so they don't feel that sugar is controlling their lives. I love helping people have that freedom from cravings, right? So what does that mean to a person? Think about that. So next, we need to think about, what does the audience, your ideal clients, already know about this topic? Are they savvy and they know a lot, or are they just starting? We need to write it again from their perspective of what they need to know, always focusing on their biggest problem. What is the number one problem they want to solve? So is it losing weight? Is it back pain? What is it that they have? What do you get asked all the time from your clients? I love truly listening into my client sessions and hearing about them complain. When you can hear them being raw and real, you're getting inside your ideal client's head. So you will know, oh my goodness, she needs to know about how to manage menopause symptoms. What is it that they need to know? What transformation can you promise your students? Not always at the end of the workshop. The workshop, it's the promise of that possibility of managing menopause symptoms, the possibility of kicking the sugar habit. So then they want to work with you. So when you are focusing in on this, then you know what is your one core purpose for writing this talk. So what do you hope people will be able to leave with that workshop? What is the desired outcome for your attendees? What's going to spark the most interest and engagement from your community? So the title, and I'm going to be doing a whole workshop just on titles coming up in the next, I think it's in 2 months. But you want your audience to be able to see that title and say, I need to be there, right? So put your promise for your attendees, what they will achieve in the title. So sugar blues doesn't say anything. Sugar addiction doesn't say anything. How to kick the sugar habit definitely tells them what you're going to do and what they're going to learn, right? So now we're going into the gist of the workshop, the content. These are your main tips about what you want your audience to learn. So I like to do it with Post-it notes. I think I heard one falling before. So think about, you're talking with one of your clients and they're saying to you, I know I'm addicted to sugar and I have no control. This is what I'm eating. When the cookies come home with my kids after school, I have to eat them. I'm always buying things, all this. So you think about, what would you talk to them about, just one-on-one? Well, you might want to talk to them first about just a little sugar 101, what sugar does into their body, see what they know, right? Then go into some tips. So I put some Post-it notes up behind me. So if you're listening to the podcast, we're going to just talk about these. So first, maybe you do the sugar 101. Next, write down every single tip that you can think about to solve the problem, going towards the title of your workshop. So for sugar, I'm thinking about limiting sugar, right? The more sugar we eat, the more we're going to crave it. We want to have them read their labels. Yeah, we need to talk about sneaky sugar. We need to talk about fake sugar. We need to talk about just eating real food. And when we're craving sweets, why not have a sweet potato? Why not have some fruit, right? Eating naturally sweet foods. Maybe it's about eating more veggies, making sure you have enough protein in your diet. And the list can keep going on and on. And once you have all your whole list together, you know, from crowding out with water, taking a break, exercising, then you need to put them in an order. So that first thing with the Post-its, do that for about 10 minutes. And I like to play some music and have some fun and just write every tip. And you may not use every tip, and that's okay. I like to come up with a lot of tips. So that way, if you are hired for a half-day workshop, you can go through maybe all 20 of them. Or if it's an hour, you're going to choose probably 10 to go through. And then put them in order. So what makes sense from one to go after the other? And then think about, what is a question? What can you do for engagement with each one of these tips? So when we talk about, you know, just sugar 101 and cravings, you can just say like, hey, what was your favorite sweet cereal when you were a kid? Like, put that in the comments right now. Like, seriously, I do want to hear from you guys. Like, for me, it was Lucky Charms, right? People love talking about things like that. You can ask them, what is their number one sweet thing that they crave right now? So for me, it's chocolate ice cream. Of course, it's going to be chocolate, right? So every single one of those we can talk about, and you can ask questions. You can have them raise their hand if they're in person. You can have them come into the chat room so that they can be interactive. While you're doing your workshop, think about telling your own personal story. And then as you give these tips, talk about some of your clients and some of the success stories. Like, for example, I love talking about when I get to the fake sugar, talking about my own addiction to Diet Coke, and also to some of my clients who had addictions to diet soda, and what happened to that, and what happened when we ate real food and we crowded out with water and had an exercise plan. They found freedom, and how it really only takes about 5 days to do that. And maybe then I'm promoting my 5-day cleanse at the end, right? So when we're telling stories, they're seeing themselves, they're seeing that possibility of healing. So tailor your workshop to fit each audience, whether it's a webinar or in person, and get to know your audience right away. Sometimes I like to ask at the beginning, like, so what are you hoping to learn today? What inspired you to show up? What inspired you to sign up? What are you intending to get out of this? So there's no wrong answers there. And then acknowledge those and say, yeah, we're going to be talking about that today. That's a great question. Or maybe there's something you don't have on there, and that's either an opportunity to add something or to say, okay, Mike, we're not going to be talking about that today, but I'm going to, let's connect afterwards so that we can talk about that. I love open-ended questions, but it can also be like, how many of you have done a detox before? Raise your hand, put a yes. I love yes, open the questions that they're going to be saying yes. They're saying yes in the mind. When you have the program, they're saying yes as well. So think about that. I also love to answer or ask questions. If it's in person, this is easier. But if I had a magic wand and 6 months from now, I could solve a problem for you, what would you ask for? And so people might say, oh, to be 30 pounds lighter, to have energy to play with my grandkids, right? And everybody starts shouting those out. Now you know their biggest problems. So when you talk to them about setting up a health history, a discovery session, to talk about, let's meet, let's talk about how we can help you in the first steps to get energy, so you are playing outside with the kids, that you are that active grandma that you've already wanted to be. So learn from your audience, inform your audience. At the end, you need to tell them who your ideal client is. So if your goal is to sign them up for that breakthrough session, you're not getting the athlete that just happened to show up that you don't really want to work with. Let them know exactly who your ideal client is. And if it's in person, I like to say, I'm sticking around afterwards. Like, let's chat. I have absolutely booked new clients right after a workshop. Now, if it's online, I love to give a link so that they can sign up for a free session right away afterwards. And if you are interested in giving that first workshop or webinar, I do highly recommend that you look at a past training that I did that was about 10 essential must-haves to make your next virtual workshop a success. So you can find that at workshopsdone.com/video or workshopsdone.com/podcast. And you can find that episode so you can learn about all the things that you need to do that. And again, if we haven't had our one-on-one yet, I would love to meet with you. These are my favorite times. So please go to lorikampa.biz/free session to set up your free business breakthrough session. So we can see if Workshops Done Academy is right for you, if business coaching is right for you. We are going to be opening up Workshops Done Academy very soon, starting in November. And we are going to be having a special live training next Wednesday. And that's going to be in the form of a 75-minute masterclass. And I've been working hard on this. And it is one that you will absolutely want to show up live for and tell your health coach besties as well. So next week, it's going to be all about how to find clients by offering wellness workshops. The number one complaint I hear from health coaches is they want to know how to find paying clients. So I'm going to talk about the formula that I use to create my own profitable wellness business and how I coach other health coaches on that. So that's going to be Wednesday, November 3rd, and there's going to be 2 times. So just right here, our weekly live time at 3 p.m. Eastern time, and also that same evening, Wednesday, November 3rd at 8 p.m. So in the masterclass, I'm going to talk about the powerful impact of wellness workshops. So the strategy, right, and how to make that bigger income and that bigger impact. So we have more freedom as well in our schedules. And I'm going to talk about just how to work smarter to reclaim the time we have for this one-to-many approach that workshops gives us, and how to effectively build that high-quality email list, how to authentically connect with the audience, and just that mindset shift to a bigger business. So watch for your emails because your invitation is going to be coming in really soon. If you want to see the information, you can go through workshopsdone.com/masterclass and sign up today. So I hope to see you soon. If you have any questions or anything, please let me know. I love chatting with you and I love hearing your feedback. If you have any questions or comments of things that you want to hear about for live training, let me know. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I see some of you are on Zoom and some of you are on Facebook, and I hope to see you next week at our special masterclass. Bye, everybody.